Lewis, first of all, thanks for having time for us in Holland.
Pleasure.
Um, if you allow me, I want to go back with you to where you were 8 years old, living in
God.
Stevenage.
Do you remember when you was 8?
I do
This
remember
feels like such a long time ago.
Some bit of that, but there's a lot of time in between it. What was in the mind of young Lewis then? Did you vision already? This one I want to do. This is where I want to go. This is, or not?
I had the dream of, I'd been watching Formula One since I was 5 with my dad on the weekends, because I live with my dad on the weekends and that's the weeks with my mum.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the racing and just remember being a fan of that. My dad also watched Superman, so I'd seen those two, and Superman was my favorite hero and still is today, and really very meaningful for me. And then Ayrton also. So I dreamed of doing that, but I was probably very shy. I was very daring, but generally quite a shy individual, and I was bullied at school, so I was very kind of in my shell.
Yeah.
But dreamed of one day being here. But it's just like any kid from 2 to 10 years old, just dreaming silly things.
Yeah. And here we are on the verge of a 6th world title. Gee, what a leap! What a mega leap!
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not really a leap.
Yeah,
It's been a gradual climb for a lot of years. I started racing when I was 8. I'm 34.
Yeah.
So it's been a long journey.
I mean,
A lot of ups and downs. A lot of really difficult times.
yeah.
And it's not always been smooth sailing. I
True.
think people generally tend to see often the good, less, and I don't think we all show our tears and our difficult experiences, but that's really what's made me what I am today, and how and helped me sharpen the ability that I have today.
I remember people sort of wondering when you left McLaren, how the hell can you leave McLaren and go to? I remember that was a big thing,
Yeah.
and in the end, it was
was
the right choice.
Of course.
Yeah, it's easy afterwards.
No, but I knew at the time it was the right choice for me, one way or another.
Right.
I really truly believe that. I wrote down the pros and cons. I thought about it for months and months and months, and I prayed about it, and I had a lot of people telling me stay at McLaren. Even my dad, stay at McLaren. It's the best thing for you to do. And I had to look in within myself and figure out what I want to do. And I relate it to the idea of when you finally leave home and you get your first apartment, and you take that independent step, and you have to pay your bills, and you can't rely on your parents anymore. And it's similar in the sense that I was with McLaren since I was 13. I was a part of a family.
You know.
They're very protective of me. And then I was like, okay, I've learned all this over these years. I need to now just make a decision on my own as a man, and be able to live, good or bad, with that decision and stick with it.
Sure choice.
And so I made that choice wholeheartedly, and I was like, it could be difficult for some years, but
Yeah.
I truly believe in Mercedes and what they are planning to do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give it everything to help try and steer them in that direction. If they give me the tools, I'll make it work.
And you did it.
And that's what we've generally done.
To be honest, the domination of 2-3 years ago, maybe last year, you're still dominant. The car's dominant, the team's dominant, but the competition is knocking left and right. You need to do more on-track battles than 2-3 years ago, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at 2014, and it wasn't great. Mercedes were at the front all the time. I mean, that's great for us, but I personally, of course, I would have loved more competition.
Yeah.
But what people tend to often forget is that there is obviously competition between the two drivers within the team. I still have to arrive and deliver. If it was just one driver, then it would kind of be a little bit boring. I would say that it's then definitely got the last 3 or 4 years definitely got a lot tougher, more challenging, and I think it's been great for the sport. I don't think this year we've dominated.
No, but I see you're still a dominant factor.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I think there's not, with our car, I think it has its strengths and weaknesses. I wouldn't say it's an outlier better than other, like the Ferrari, for example. I think that last year they should have won the world title, but we did a better job collectively. It's not just about the car on its own. It's about the driver that sits in it, how consistent they are on a weekend out basis. It's how consistent the mechanics are, and the engineers and the strategists. All those things are the pillars to success, and not one of those is what means that it's going to win. And I think the other team has that solid car, but then some of those pillars are either shorter or weaker. And we work hard to build all those pillars as strong as possible.
Is life as a superstar easy?
I mean, I don't generally look at myself as a superstar. So,
a lot of people will say maybe you're their Superman. For some of them at home. Small boys, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely strange when you meet. Like a couple of weeks ago, I met one kid and light skin, a bit lighter skin than me, but a mixed race kid, and he had braids and he had his ears pierced and he's like, and he was so happy and he was so bubbly and he was like, you're my hero. And he's like, at school people pick on me and they say I've got braids and stuff, but I say, well, Lewis has it. Yeah. And it felt so comforting for me to be able to be that for him.
That's
good. And give him that confidence, Yeah. And he was one of the coolest kids I ever met. And but yeah, I think it is not an easy position. I think people always look at things and be like, okay, you make good money, you get to travel, have holidays, all these different things when you want. It's really, really not what it always seems, I'm very much a family man. I'm an uncle, I'm a godfather. I'm always trying to make my mom and my dad proud in the decisions I make.
Mm-hmm. But you live on a magnifier.
Yeah, I do.
That's
what
it is.
But I work a lot. I work so hard. And
I trust you on that.
Everything I do, and I'm hugely driven. But yeah, you are under a magnifying glass, and it's not always easy. And I think over time you realize that is just the way it is. And there are going to be times you can't shy away from negativity. You can't shy away. I won't say. It's like being in a relationship and being too scared to be honest with your partner because she's probably going to go crazy or he's going to go crazy. Yeah. You don't want to be in that. You shouldn't ever be in that position. You should always be able to be transparent and open. And so that's what you see this year. I'm very, very open with my social media. I try to express when I'm feeling my highs and my lows because I do go through those experiences as normal people do.
True.
And sometimes I get positivity from it. Sometimes I get negativity. I don't care. No. It's my platform, and I do and say what I want really on it.
Yeah, but you are open. I mean, last week in Mexico, you said that probably Red Bull and Max has the best chassis, and people said, "Why would you say that?" I said, "Well, because that's what he genuinely feels, and he knows, and you can know it."
Yeah, well, the engineers, you don't get to see this stuff, but they go through this list and they show from each race. Sometimes the Ferrari their car has been quicker and they're able to figure out from the power modes and everything like that who's got the strongest engine, who has the strongest chassis. And Red Bull have had a really good chassis for many years, and they've always struggled with their engine. If they had our engine, things may have been a bit different over the years. But they're all very, very close. But as I said, it's the other things around it that also, Max should have won the last race.
He should have.
But certain things come in place, and it's just a part of that. That's his journey. Doesn't mean it's bad, but that's his journey. I've been through it as well.
I know what you're going to say.
I've started on pole and things have not gone well, and that's a part of my journey, and his is on his own journey, so that he will learn from that and get stronger, and he's going to do great moving forwards. And I'm looking forward to continuing to race him moving forwards, but that's just how it goes,
All right. When you walked up the table, you said, "Hoe gaat het met jou?" That's all the Dutch you know.
Shoot! Now I can't. I can't say it. Now the pressure's on. I can't say it.
Yeah, don't think about it. Hoe gaat het met jou? Good. Good, that's it.
Yes, it's very hard with the language is very tough. I'm looking forward to the next years because I'm going to spend a lot more time in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. So maybe I'll pick up more than just Hoe gaat het met jou.
All right, pretty good. Well, pick up one more thing, and that's another world title this Sunday.
Fingers crossed.
All right, fingers crossed. Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Volop live topsport? Ga naar Ziggo Sport op kanaal 14. Gratis voor Ziggo klanten.